Welcome to the Fierce Goddess Collective. From our hearts to yours, we share the gifts of beautiful goddesses to the world. Welcome, everybody. We have another lovely episode here with a beautiful woman. I've just met her, but she is divine, Dr. Niikee. And, of course, my little co-collaborator here, Tosca. Now, to start with, I'm going to read a little bit of a bio about Dr. Niikee. So just bear with me a moment. So Dr. Niikee was originally trained as a naturopath before continuing on to study various traditional medicine lineages. She's also worked in academia as a lecturer and research fellow in mainstream clinical medicine. With over 25 years in private practice and 15 years in teaching and learning, has brought Niikee back into the esoteric mysteries, where her research, teaching and practice focuses mainly on energy medicine, shamanic practice and intuitive guidance as a channel for divine light. Dr. Niikee's School of Metaphysical Practice facilitates different offerings through the year for both practitioners and those wishing to dive deeper into the mysteries of the greater reality, to reconnect to peace in their minds and love in their hearts. That's just beautiful. You're an amazing, interesting woman, and I haven't even started talking to you yet.
I know. This is going to be a juicy podcast. So let's start with our first question, Niikee. How do you describe yourself and what do you do in everyday life?
Oh, everyday life. What do I do? Be me.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so I guess my why of what I do is to support people reconnect back to the truth of who they are. You know, in our modern world, we've become so disillusioned, I guess, by trying to live a reality that we think we should be living in, rather than giving ourselves the opportunity to truly live and experience, you know, what our soul desires at that level. Yeah, so that's all of my, whether it's my research or my teachings or, you know, with private clients, all of that is all around really taking people back to reconnect to themselves, really on that level.
Oh, how important is that? Like, that is just reconnection to self.
Absolutely.
So that leads me on.
What? Sorry, Tosca.
Yeah.
Oh, she's glitched.
We've got a time delay. We've got something going on today. But what do you do in everyday life? Other than your business, what does Niikee do in everyday life?
I think just about everything's intertwined into that. Like, you know, I love yoga and I love, you know, making food, and, you know, all that comes part and parcel with, you know, with considering, you know, health from that holistic perspective. And I teach yoga as well. I love to do yoga, meditation, you know, all of those things. So I guess it's just living my path, really, and, you know, sharing the love from that type of perspective. Yeah. But that aside, you know, things like going to the forest and the beach, which, you know, all involves connecting back to that which is sacred as well, doesn't it, in that way? So, you know, just attempting, I guess, the best I can to live that in my life. And, you know, rather than having a visit to the sacred being once a week, it's kind of like, you know, where can I bring that into the everyday, just even into the small mundaneness of everything. It's like, oh, wow, you know, this is really a beautiful cup of tea. You know, things like that, just to remind ourselves of, you know, the beauty that always exists around everywhere.
That's so true, because we're so busy and we don't take the time to stop. And I always think, you know, when we go to eat our food and stuff, we actually have to thank, whether it's meat or plant or whatever, we always need to thank where it's come from, and to acknowledge that plant or that animal has given their life for us to be nourished. So
yeah,
it's something I always try to remember. But yeah, I'm bad. I don't do it all the time. I need to really concentrate on that.
Well, and you're so right. It's because we're so overloaded with multitasking and this and that, and how fast time goes these days, and all of that. And it's kind of, it tends to fall by the wayside because it doesn't have a seemingly tangible thing. It's not like, we just vacuumed the floor or something. It's like to do something that has effects later. It can be difficult to, pull that value because you don't get that quick fix kind of thing, but you do. That's kind of the bigger picture, isn't it? But it's not really something that, that's tangible in that sort of way. So it can easily get put by the wayside when we've got too much going on.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to ask you, how do you support women in particular through what you do?
Yeah, so, I guess a lot of what I see with clients is that, as women, not that I'm gender biased, but, as women, it's kind of our place generationally has always been what we can do for our families. And from that perspective, by the time I see women quite a lot of the time, they're at this crossroads of, well, they've done their family thing. They've done, they're doing what they always thought they should be doing. And then it's like, well, where's me now? Where's me? What's, what does that even look like? Because I've never really had the opportunity to explore that.
That's a great answer. That is so true, isn't it? It's just amazing that, we just have that, with like that focus of what we're expected to do. And then, we all come out of it and it's like, well, now what?
Yeah, totally. And what does that look like? And can I even do it? Because I've just been so long focused on, everybody else kind of thing. So
totally.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. I agree. Totally. So beautiful, Dr. Niikee. What is something that brings you joy and all that you love to do? I think you may have already shared this, but let's go there. Bring
all
more
the things.
joy.
You know what? I guess the beach. It's time for the beach again. We've just had a bit of a winter period here, if you could even call it winter, really, but it's too cold for the beach. And so I'm really looking forward to some ocean time again soon. Hopefully not too many more weeks away, but I love that. And, even on my own journey, I'm finding more and more the need to consciously create that space and be okay with just having space.
Yeah, so important. That probably answers my next question too, about what are your self-love and self-care practices that you do for yourself in particular? So the beach is one, going for a swim in the beautiful ocean.
Yeah, doing the yoga, taking that time to reconnect on a daily basis as well. Even, sometimes it can be cut a bit shorter than other times, but I always, make sure that I do spend, even if it's only, 5-10 minutes just in that space, just coming back to the breath, coming back to, the spirit, is reconnecting with that and the importance of that, and then taking that out into the day with me.
Beautiful.
So good.
Yeah, so
love
beautiful.
Love it.
That deep
it is like I was talking about before. It's just about reprioritizing, isn't it? And quite being women, what we're just talking about, as well as it's always, is everyone else okay all the time? And it's like, as soon as everyone else is okay, then I'll spend my 5 minutes in meditation. And it's like, if we allowed ourselves to prioritize the 5 minutes, that there would be even more time for everybody else, because we'd be able to approach as we walk forward with a lot more clarity and connectedness as well, rather than, have we done that? We still got to do that. And all of this kind of, I call it distortion we create by being too busy and too hurrying with everything all the time. It does create energetic distortion, and in that distortion it actually takes longer to do other things. So it's kind of a real reprogramming of, if I actually do take this time to create space, I'm actually going to have more space to get everything in that I would like to get done in a day as well. So they're interesting to play with.
Totally. Yeah, totally. So I wonder if what you've just said actually leads into our next question. What has been, for you personally, one of your biggest learnings, your biggest insights, the thing that's gone, yeah, this is where I've learned so much, or felt or experienced?
Yeah, I think valuing space.
Yeah.
Valuing the stillness, the nothingness, you know, like everyone else during the 90s, if you remember, it was everything was so much like, if you're not busy, you're lazy, you're not doing anything, if you're not busy. And it's like, it'd be like, everyone would be like, oh, hey, if you're not busy, oh, that's good. And now it's like, everyone's like, no, stop it. We're all on overload. We're going to implode.
Oh my God.
If we don't actually take time to create space. So, you know, when you look at all the things I've done in my life, that's been from that aspect of just being full constantly. And, you know, so the last few years, it's been a real, like, almost pedaling backwards just to get myself out of that, that momentum. It's like, whoa, slow down, stop, create space. And it honestly, it's within that space that all of the rubbish just falls away. And then, you know, you can really start to see through a clearer lens as well, can't you?
Yeah.
Not coming from that hurriedness all the time.
It's so true. I only just said to Tosca before, well, I said to her, you're so busy, my love. And she said, I'm abundantly busy, but I don't always want to be abundantly busy. We've got a new name for it.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, it's all about perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So I wanted to ask you, Dr. Niikee, when was the last time you used your intuition and what was it?
Probably about an hour ago with the client. Just reconnected her back as well because she's too busy over intellectualizing to create stability in her root energy. And that's what the guides were showing me. And it was really coming back to her heart. So I reconnected her with that depth and we just sat in that energy and then felt that clarity that she's going to be able to bring through all of the, I guess, the cloudiness, which is why she, you know, came to have the session with me. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool. I love it. The guys are just like, they're so clever. They always like get it right. They're always like, yes, that's amazing. And I think that too afterwards. Sometimes I go, wow, that was cool. Hey.
Yeah.
Super cool. Super cool. Oh, so beautiful. Do you have a favorite goddess and why?
Oh, I do love a Lakshmi. She reminds me of the forest and abundance and spaciousness.
That is so bizarre because we were only just talking about that before you came on. How weird.
It is. We were talking about
it's
that.
Funny, isn't it? It's in the ether. That's why
I know. As soon as you said that, I was like, ding, ding. That's so good. That's so good. So, Dr. Niikee, what are you celebrating at the moment?
I am celebrating the concept of prosperity being in the now moment. Prosperity is not a thing that comes to us. Prosperity is a frequency that we hold in each moment. That's been my reflections for the last week with the Lionsgate portal, with you know, all of that as well. And so I've really had a focus, and with the groups that I run as well, we've been really focusing on that so far this week, where we can bring that that awareness of prosperity into every moment. And by the nature of the energy of prosperity, it draws abundance from that space, you know, rather than us trying to seek out and acquire abundance in that way. It's like we draw it to us by our nature. And so in that space of prosperity is the word of the week.
I like that.
A good word that is. We like that word. Fantastic.
Well, beautiful one. We have come, believe it or not, to the end of our glorious conversation. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. It's an absolute pleasure to see you again, Tosca, and to meet you too, Amanda.
Oh, it's been lovely meeting you too. You're amazing. I'm going to check out your links and stuff.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for the magic that you bring. Thank you for the gifts that you share. Like, we are very honored to have you here on our podcast and to share your love with the world. And from our hearts to your heart, may you be well. May you be
blessings,
happy.
you too.
And you are loved.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Niikee. And if anybody's interested and look, I'm going to check out Dr. Niikee from what she's been talking, because I've only just started I'm still on my journey of finding myself and where I'm supposed to be. So check out the links below, because all the information will be there on Dr. Niikee. So thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You too. Thank you.
Dear goddesses, if you love this Fierce Goddess Collective podcast, please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
And if you want some more information on our special guest today, all the links can be found down below. And remember, goddesses, stay fierce.